Okay. Can everyone hear me? You can respond in the chat, whether you can or not. If you click chat, then that'll help me know. Okay, perfect. And thank you, Megan. And everyone can see our Once Upon a Holiday performance packet here. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so welcome to our very first Zoom call. Let me turn on my video so you can see me while I talk to you.
Dance.
Ta-da! Okay.
Dance.
Welcome to our performance call. Reminder that
I think it's like gift like packaging.
Yourself. Make sure you've muted. Let's mute. There we go. I can make sure I have everyone muted as well here. On my end. Perfect. Okay, we are all good. Okay, so we are very excited about our upcoming Once Upon a Holiday performance. There are a few changes that we're going to go through, and hopefully this meeting will be able to answer all of your questions. So it is coming up November 16th through 18th. It's still at Blessed Trinity. So we can scroll through here. Our lovely table of contents. Okay, this gives us a little bit of information about the show. It's the story of Alice in Wonderland with a twist with the Nutcracker and holidays. It is a Sideways production. Sideways is a nonprofit professional dance company, and the show was actually launched in 2007. That's when it was premiered. So it's older than the studio. And as Sideways has grown and as the studio has grown, Sideways has decided to partner with ADC to give us this additional performance opportunity. So what's extra special about this performance is that the dancers will be dancing alongside professional dancers in a professional dance production. That's really cool. So there's a little bit about Sideways here, and then we bump right into our performance dates and show times. So here, most classes are performing in one show. The art company students are performing in all 4 shows, and some of the upper level program classes are performing in more than one show. So we'll be able to take a look at this. But these are the 4 casts, cast A, B, C, and D, and what night that cast is performing at. So now if we go to this studio cast list, it will show us cast A, and these are all the classes that are in Cast A, which perform Friday at 7 p.m., and their role within the show. So Acro Aerial Basics is performing in Winter Wonderland. Aerial 4 is also performing in Winter Wonderland. And if it has a star here, it's performing in more than one show. So you can look down and see and find your class that you are participating in, and see what cast they are in. That's important. That's the first step, is to identify what classes you're in and what cast you're in, because that kind of guides the entire rehearsal schedule. So if you want to take a moment to kind of look at that, if you're an art company, it's coming up next. But if you're in regular program classes, this is our chart. Does anyone have any questions about this chart? Go ahead and pop it in the chat if you do. Okay, I don't see any questions, so we'll move on. So the next one is art company. An art company performs in all casts, A, B, C, and D. This is each company and the numbers that they do within the show. So artisan, senior, teen, junior, mini, and micro mini. Those are the numbers that they perform in. Okay, questions about the art company casts? Okay, all right. So next page here is the show order. So these names coordinate with the names that were on the cast list. So you can kind of see where those things fall. All of the youth program classes fall within scene 2. So scene 2 is our Wonderland, and it divides across the acts. Scene 2 here, and then there's the intermission here, and scene 2 continues. The art company performs in this act scene 1, some of them in scene 1 and some of them in scene 3. There's no regular program classes in scene 1 or scene 3. Questions about the show order? Okay. So next we go to our rehearsal dates. And I'm going to warn you that there's a lot of rehearsals because we have 4 casts, but there's not a lot of rehearsals. I see Katie has a question. There's not a lot of rehearsals for each dance. It just looks like a lot of rehearsals. So let me see if I can answer Katie's question real quick. Let me unmute
Charlotte,
you.
I can't figure out how to get in my chat. But
okay.
Sorry. So the mini company is not dancing in the Nutcracker Suite?
The mini company, oh, they do. They do a little bit in the Nutcracker Suite. That is correct.
Okay. So add that in. Okay, thank you.
Add that in, yes. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Hey,
so,
Charlotte. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I can't figure out how to write in either. So if your daughter is in a youth, she's doing basic hip hop, they're also in Wonderland, correct? So she can't perform in both. Is that correct?
So for Addison, it depends on how much time. If she's in hip hop basics, I think she may have enough time to do that. So yeah, that's the question, is if art students are in program classes, can they perform with their program classes? Yes, they usually can. It just depends on whether they can change costumes fast enough and it makes sense. So if she's interested in doing the extra, then what I'm encouraging people to do is go ahead and sign up for that. And then I'm going to review the cast list and make sure that it makes sense for the show run. And I'll let you know if it doesn't. Sound good?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Other questions before we move on? Okay, cool. So, rehearsal dates. So the rehearsals when we're learning the choreography are generally during the last 10 minutes of each class. So they're going to be learning that choreography in class and preparing. Then starting November 1st, we have a couple rehearsals that may take place at BT or may take place at ADC. Whether they have just a tech on stage, which means we're doing the lighting and the spacing on stage, or whether they need an additional spacing rehearsal in the studio, depends on how intricate they are with another class. Some classes are just, their class and sideways. And we think pretty confidently that we can make that happen on stage. But if we're coordinating a couple classes together and sideways, then we're taking a little extra time to put that together. So every class definitely has a tech rehearsal on the stage. And then they also have a dress rehearsal for their cast, which is going to be Wonderland. Then we do one dress rehearsal of the full show, which includes scene 1, 2, and 3. We do that one time. So we don't do the full dress rehearsal run 4 times. We only do scene 2 4 times. So let's take a look. So we've got, for your spacing and tech, we're not doing costumes, even though we may be on the stage for our tech. But for dress, we are going to do costumes. We have on November 1st, we have at BT, which is early. November 1st is early, so we're getting an early day in. We are doing Blue Christmas, and we have cast B, C, D, A. We have that listed here as their times. It's only going to be 20 minutes on the stage for each group because the next group starts at 5. Then we are going to do the party scene, which is scene 1 and scene 3 with Olive Art Company from 5:20 until 8 o'clock. We will probably work it so micros won't need to stay the entire time because we'll do scene 1. They are not in scene 3. They are only in scene 1. So that'll be easier for them. And then we have Where Are You Christmas here as a tech, which is another number in the show. Then at the studio at ADC on that same Thursday, we're putting together Winter Wonderland and Man with the Bag right here. On Friday at ADC, we're doing our fourth cast of Winter Wonderland. Then the following weekend on Saturday, we're back in the theater, and this is our list of numbers that we have going on for that. We'll end at the theater at 3:30 here, and then we will resume at ADC at 4. So if you're in March of the Toys, which is the Soldier one, then you'll be coming to the studio that day instead of the theater. We just have to be out of the theater by a certain time. There's Titan Tidings that day. So, and then we've got a few more rehearsals here on Sunday as we prepare. Monday is a to be announced if needed. That would be at the studio. We don't anticipate, but we're leaving that kind of as an open thing just in case. And then on Tuesday, November 13th, we're back in the theater. We've got a bunch of tech here for Hot Chocolate, Man with the Bag, Mrs. Santa Claus, The Waltz, all of these things going here. You can read them through. This is all tech. Then next page here, we are starting to get into our dress rehearsals. So for dress rehearsal, we need to arrive 30 minutes ahead of our scheduled time, so that way we can prepare. So we've got Winter Wonderland is going to rehearse from 4 until 4:30, and then they're going to have 30 minutes to get ready. And we'll have Cast A, we'll do a dress rehearsal Wonderland run. And Allison, yes, if we will work out their program, class rehearsal, and BT. Whether they need to be both a BT and ADC, it depends on the time. So for, let me go back to that real quick. Are you talking about Blue Christmas, I believe, right, Allison? I think it's that one. So what I would recommend is I think go ahead and doing the Blue Christmas at, or wait, no. Are you looking at Winter Wonderland? For Mint, I'm confused. Which one are you looking for? The Wonderland ones. Okay. So yes. So that is a decision that we'll have to make. I'm thinking it depends on the dance. Specifically for Winter Wonderland, that's very complicated to put together with all the dances with all the aerial silks. So I would think that we would want to have you at that rehearsal versus at the party scene, which is a little bit less complicated to put together, have you come over after that. So it depends on which class that is. If it's Man with the Bag, it's less complicated. Does that answer your question? It's kind of case-by-case basis, honestly, with that. Okay, cool. All right, so going back to, we were talking about dress rehearsal. So here's where we get into our dress rehearsals. So Cast A will do their dress rehearsal, which is our scene 2 at 5. It'll be 5 to 5:45, basically. And then as soon as they're done, the Cast B of Winter Wonderland will take the stage and rehearse. And then we'll do scene 2, Wonderland Run Through for Cast B. And then we'll finish out with Carol the Bells. And then on Thursday, we'll essentially do the same thing. We have a Winter Wonderland cast run for 30 minutes. We prepare for a Cast C Wonderland run through. And then we do Winter Wonderland Cast D rehearsal. And then this night is the night that we're going to do the entire run through from the beginning. So we're going to do scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3. So if you are only in scene 2, Cast D, then you would need to arrive at 7. Whereas if you are in Art Company and in scene 1, then we would need you to be there at 6:30 to prepare for the dress rehearsal run. So let's just take a quick look again and go back to here and just verify. Again, we're talking about, for dress rehearsal, we're talking about scene 2, Wonderland. So we're talking about all of these numbers right here and all of these numbers right here. We will run those 4 times, but we will only be running scene 1 and scene 3 1 time in the full show run on Thursday. Good so far? Hopefully. It looks like a lot of rehearsals, but like I said, you're not in every single rehearsal. It just has a lot of material to outline. Yes, quick question from Heather. Did you say micros are only in scene 1? Yes, they are only in scene 1. They are not in scene 3. So that makes it easier for some of those rehearsals. Mrs. Santa Claus should be in scene 2. It opens scene 2. Let me make sure. Yes, it's open scene 2 right here. So they are in scene 1, but they are not in scene 3. Sorry. That makes, yeah. So they do scene 1 and then they go scene 2, but they do not come back in for scene 3. Everyone will come in for this finale, but that's not something that we're going to have to really practice before the show. Other questions about rehearsals before we go on? Okay, so let's keep going and I'll open it up for questions again at the end. So call times for the shows. So for this show, students do not purchase their costumes. We try to keep the costs down with that, so they're renting the costumes. So you will pick up your costume and return your costume in the cafeteria at BT. And this is the call times for the different levels to arrive. So on Cast A, Friday, the 7 p.m. show, Sideways Art and Leads will arrive at 5. The studio classes, level 2 through 6, will arrive at 6. And studio classes, level 1 and basics, will arrive at 6:30. I think for micro minis, we can have them arrive at 6. That will be fine because they won't be participating in our warm-up. But I will need them at 6, not 6:30. And then for our matinee show, Sideways Art and Leads arrive at 12. The studio classes level 2 through 6 arrive at 1. And studio classes level 1 and basics arrive at 1:30. And the show will start at 2. So we've tried to make it easy so it's not so much time waiting backstage. But I think that'll work out just perfectly with our level classes. And we will need the students to wait backstage for the length of the entire show because they come on for finale. We can talk about micro mini stuff specifically about that later. But for the most part, we need all the students to stay backstage for the entire time as a safety concern. And you can see the call times here for the 7 o'clock show on Saturday are the same, and the Sunday at 2 o'clock show are the same as Friday, Saturday. So participation costs, we have a $25 registration fee. This is going to include 2 tickets to the performance, so they'll be reserved for you for that performance. If you need additional tickets, then those you can purchase through the website, and you can reserve them. It's still all general admission, so no need to figure out everything ahead of time. You can buy them as you need them. That is 1 fee per dancer. Then there's a required costume rental fee per class. So that includes the costume rental for each dance. And that's $25 per class. If you're in art, the costs for your costumes and your registration fee is already included in your art fees. If you want to add additional program classes, then you would need to pay the additional $25 per costume rental for the additional dances. You will need to have nude tights, skin-colored tights. They don't have to be purchased at us, but we do have them. These are going to be worn under all of the costumes. We do provide specific tights for certain things, like snowmen, they need white tights, or the presents need a particular kind of tight. So we do provide those tights, but we want to make sure that we have students have their own base tights underneath that. Optional costs, we have a themed t-shirt that we are doing, we do a new one each year. We are going to be filming the performance in 4K. It's really cool. It can also be streamed, so there's a digital download of that option, and then there's program ads and performer greetings as well. those will be sent directly to Miss Marianne. Yes, Allison, I can check for you. She's asking, is there a way to confirm if we already registered for the program class performances during the online registration? Yes, I can check for you. So the self-supplied item checklist is nude tights, like we've decided, nude leotard or undergarments if they're needed, the dance shoes for your class, which usually coordinate exactly with what you need for class. Stage makeup kit, so some stage makeup including darker lipstick. There is a lot of lighting, so we will need to have that. And your hairstyle is any hairstyle that you need or that you like, as long as it's pulled away from the face. So it doesn't have to be a specific hairstyle. It can be pigtails, it can be braids, it can be a bun, it can be half up, but it can't just be straight down. And then we also do need hairspray. If you are in scene 2 and not in scene 1 or scene 3, and you want to participate in our finale, our big bow at the end, then you will need to supply your own party dress. So you'll change into that, and then you'll be able to participate in Joy to the World with our big finale curtain call. That's an extra thing on here. And then we're at the end. There we have it. So questions about this packet? Let's open it up and I will see if I can check on Allison's question. Pull that up for you. Yes, Heather, that's correct. Micro should plan to show up at 6 or 1 hour before the show as opposed to 2. That's too much time for them to have to wait. Okay, let's see, Allison. Yes, Pam, we have ordered printed copies of the packet, so you can pick one up at the front desk. It's not quite here yet, but it should be here within the next couple days or so. You can also download the packet. It's on the link, the private performer link that was in our email. And when they process your confirmation, they'll send you an attachment of it as well. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for you, Allison. Da-da-da. Yes, it looks like, yes, packet will go on TMAP as well. You are correct. And I have Lily down for, yes, for tap 2 for Once Upon a Holiday, and Hip Hop 1 and Contemporary 1. Let's see, Heather. Yes, I can go back to the rehearsal schedule. Yes, we'll rehearse. Yes, you will rehearse in all the cast for the 3 scenes that you're in, but you do not need to stay the whole time. So let's take a look at that. Let me go back to it. Allison, it depends on if they're in different casts, hip hop and contemporary. If they're in different casts, then they can do both. Okay, we are looking at rehearsal schedule. So for micro minis, you're saying for you want to look specifically here, Heather, at the dress rehearsals or all of them? Okay, so dress work. Okay, so they will need, since they are Mrs. Santa Claus, they are only in that first bit if they don't do any other program classes or participate with any others. So they will just need to participate in the very beginning of this Wonderland run through with Mrs. Santa Claus. So they'll be here and then they'll have a break and then they'll be here. So they could essentially leave at 7:05 basically this night on Wednesday. On Thursday, they will need to do 5:30 and then they'll do this scene 1 and then they'll do the scene 2 starts at 7:30, so they'll probably be done at 7:35. Even though they come on for the finale here, I don't think it's necessary that they stay the entire time for that. Correct, and 5:30 as well, yes. So essentially Wednesday, it's they're starting, their first dance starts at 5 and they're done at 7:05, so they probably need to be there 30 minutes ahead of time, 4:30. And Thursday, they need to be there at 5, so they're for the 5:30 one, and then they're done at 7:35. Perfect. Okay, Megan, I saw the part about call times and picking up costumes before the performance, but was unsure about dress rehearsal. Do we pick up costumes for the dress rehearsal right before and change there? Yes, you do. There is one thing to note on Wednesday. The cafeteria does not have, we don't have private access to the cafeteria. We do on Thursday. So yes, you will be able to pick up the costume from the cafeteria and then you'll change there. So to make it very easy, if you have any color solid color leotard, you could wear that underneath the costume for the dress rehearsal with your tights. If you don't, that's fine. There are areas that you can change, and we're looking to put up partitions and such in the hallway as well for some of our quick changes. So there should be areas for that, but you will pick up the costume at the 30 minutes before the dress rehearsal run. Perfect. Okay, other questions? Was this helpful? Okay, yes, Brandy?
When is the deadline to decide on if you're in a youth class?
October 1st, so this week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So just getting a little feedback from you guys, we are thinking about doing this for our recital packet instead of having people come in every class that they take the last 20 minutes. Can I get some feedback on whether you think that would be helpful and how we could make it work best? Cool. We like it. Great job. We're so fancy. Okay, cool. Would it help if we sent the recital packet home, like a hard copy packet home with you? Or do you like digital? Yes, hard copy packet. Yes, 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 a million times yes. Okay, we could do that. We can definitely do that. So we'll plan a TMAP packet. Okay, we can definitely do that too. So we'll probably plan to do all the things. We will do what we did this time where you can download the digital copy with the Zoom call. We can also then send a hard copy home with the dancer the week ahead of time. And then my plan is to set up essentially maybe 2 or 3 calls where I'm going over the packet. So there's a couple different options. A cross-reference chart with group rehearsal call would be amazing. Oh, call time. For art company, is that what you're talking about, Heather? Or for every class? Break it down by class. That's probably very helpful. Classes, yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you're happy to help with that, if that step seems like something really exciting for you, we would love that. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, any last questions before we wrap it up? Yes, if you registered Emma today, then yes, they're processing those confirmations now, and you'll get an email confirmation with the packet once it's all set up. And it'll remind you, I think, of what cast and what number you're in as well. Perfect. Okay. All right, great. Well, we are going to say goodnight, and thank you for joining me on our first live call. Bye-bye.